Hello guys, so today I will discuss about what is cross validation and how this can be performed in R. So we will go through step by step in this, that what is training data set and what is testing data set, and what is cross validation in general and how is it performed. So we know that the training data set is a data set on which we train the model, or you can say that the data set on which the model is being trained or from which the model learns. Once the model has learned something from the training data set, we need to test that how much the model has learned from the training data. So we need to test it on an unknown data set, which is called the testing data set. So we can say that there is two types of data sets. One is training data set from which the model learns, and one is testing data set on which we test the model predictions. This is generally what we usually do in machine learning. But what is cross validation is, it is a kind of technique which actually tells beforehand that how well the model will work on an unknown data set based on the only training data set. And how does this work is, let's take an example. Say we have taken iris data set, which is here. We know that iris data set has 150 observations and 5 variables. Let's just check it out, what is in it. It has 4 variables, predictor variables. One is sepal length, sepal width, petal width. These are the predictor variables, and species is the target variable which we need to predict. So it is 3 class variables, target variables. So we have 3 classes in it. One is setosa, one is versicolor, and one is virginica. We need to predict the species based on these 4 predictor variables. These are continuous variable. So what we do is, so we have 150 observations data set. We don't have any testing data set right here, but in case we need to check that how the model will work on that data set. But what cross validation does is, it works on the given data set. It works on the given training data set. So this is the training data set because it has the complete target variable given for all the 150 observations. In the testing data set, we don't have the species variable. We only have the 4 columns on the basis of which we need to predict this species. But on this data set, the species is also given. That's why it is called training data set. From this data set, we need to learn. The model need to learn on the basis of these 4 predictor variables. It tries to correlate these 4 variables with the target variable. What the cross validation technique does is, say consider we are doing a 3-fold cross validation. So there are many types of cross validation you can do. You can do 2-fold, you can do 4-fold, 5-fold, 10-fold. Consider we are doing 3-fold cross validation in this data set. So what we will do is, we will divide the iris data set of 150 observations into 3 partitions. So we have 150 observations and we need to do 3-fold cross validation. So we will divide this data set into 3 partitions. Say the 3 partitions of 150 will be 50 each observations. So say A, B and C, these are 3 data sets which has 50 observations out of these 150. So we will do random sampling of these 150 observations. We will choose any 50 for each of these data sets. So we have 3 different data sets now out, which has been created out of this data set 150. What the cross validation will do is, it will train, the model will be trained on A and B part, and then it will be tested on the C part. So we won't be taking the C part while the training of the model, while the model fitting, we won't touch the C part. What we do is, we take A and B together, and this will become one data set on which we will fit the model. So A and B will become 100 observations. So on this we will train the model, and then we will test on the C part. Similarly, then what we do in the next step is, then again we train the model on B and C part together, and then test on A part, and then we train on A and C together and test on B part. So we have trained 3 times in cross validation. When we are doing 3-fold cross validation, this will do like this: A, B, C part, and then testing on C, testing on A, and testing on B. After training on A and B, B and C, and A and C. So after doing this, what we do is we take out the average of accuracy metric of these 3 testings. We have done 3 times testing, right? So we will take the average of this. So this accuracy will be average. So this cross validation is indirectly trying to without knowing the unknown data set, what it is doing is it is creating the testing data sets out of the given training data set, and it is trying to find the average of those accuracy metric or other kind of metric which we are interested in. But it is actually telling that how the model will behave when it is being given an unknown data set. So if we increase the number of folds, say 5-fold, so we will make 5-fold, so that will create 30 observations each. So A, B, C, D, and E. So 5 partitions of the data set, and each data set will be of 30 observations. And then what we do is we will train on A, B, C, and D, and test on E. Then train on A, B, C, E, and test on D. Similarly, we will do like this. So we will then take out the average of the accuracy metric. So now we know about that, what is cross validation. Let's move ahead and know about what and how this is being performed in R. So let's go ahead and see from here. So this is the beginning, and you have to do all this. You have to write all these code, and then in this way you will be able to do cross validation on any given data set, and you will be able to know that how your model is going to work in ahead of time without actually knowing the real testing data set. So what you do is you start from here. You import the mass library and the caret library. Mass is being used for the iris data set, and there's a caret package. So caret package is you will be using because it is having many models like random forest, decision tree, and other kind of logistic regressions, multi-classification, also different kind of regression problems you have. You also have Xgboost and all those kinds of models in it. So what you do is with the help of that, this package, you will be able to do the cross validation in R. So you need the library caret. So let's import these 2 things. If you are unfamiliar of this machine learning basics of how this is being done, you could have seen the earlier videos of mine on decision tree and random forest. So let's just import these 2 things. So now what we do is just store this iris data set in data frame object, and you can see here on the right hand side this data set which I have already discussed before. Now if you want to read about what is actually the iris data set, you just take the help, you write it like this: help iris. You can read on the right hand side what is iris data set and what are the variables involved in it. Then the object data frame, which consists of this iris data set, which has 150 observations and 5 columns. You can check the structure of this data frame. You just write str data frame. You can see here on the bottom, left bottom, 150 observations, 5 variables, and variable names are given: sepal length, width, and a species which we want to predict on the basis of these 4 predictor variables. You can check the dimensions. You You can check the first 3 rows like this, which you have seen from here also. Now you can check the summary also, or of each of the variable. In the summary you get the minimum, maximum, median, first quartile and third quartile values for each of the variables. So for sepal length, sepal width, the species variable is categorical, so it is like that. So let's just start from here. Let's partition the data, this data frame, into training data set and the testing data set. And the target variable is species. So let's import these two libraries. Library CA tools, caret is already being imported, that's not being required. What you do is you use the function create data partition, then data frame $species, and p is equal to 2 by 3 tells that 2/3 of the total number of observations, that is 100 observations, will go into the training data set. 2 by 3 into 150 is the total number of observations in the training data set, in the data set which is being given. So you get the indices, and the indices look like this. So you can see that what are the indices, right? So what you do is you just write it like this. So now you have training and testing data set. The training data frame has 102 observations and testing has 48 observations. So after doing the cross validation, we will test again on the testing data set. But what we are not doing is we will be using the cross validation without using this testing data set. We will just use the training data set and do the cross validation in it. Then we will get the best model out of that, and then we will try to predict for the testing data set. Now let's see what are the functions involved in the caret. So we need a very important function which is called train control function. What it does is you need to tell that which method you are trying to use. This CV tells cross validation. Number is equal to 5, that means 5-fold cross validation. 5-fold, which means that you will create 5 partitions of the data set. So 150 observations are there, so that will be 30 observations in each data sets, and 5 data sets will be there. Save predictions, that means it will predict, it will save the predictions of the model, and the class probabilities is equal to true. That means the this model, this function will save the probabilities predicted by the model. So let's just do like this. Now we use the function expand.grid, that is just to create the grid of the parameters which are involved in any model. So we are using, for example, random forest here. For the just demonstration purpose, you can use other models also, but for the demonstration purpose, let's take an example of random forest here, and the parameter which you can tune is mtry. So let's take the values of mtry to be 2, 3 and 4. We will take 3 values of mtry and we will just write expand.grid. If you have other parameters also, you can write like the comma and then say there is some xyz parameter, you can write it like c1 2 3. So it will create the grid for that also. So it will create the combinations of mtry and xyz, but we are just taking the mtry because that is the only parameter which you can tune in the random forest using the caret package in R. So let's parameter grid would be looking like this. So you can see like this. So now, so the main function is the train function, which is the function in the caret package. So we will store that model in the, say we have named that model random. So you can name anything, and then you will use the function train and you will write it like this. So species is the target variable which we want to predict, and tilde and dot means that we are using the rest of the 4 variables as predictor variables. You could have also removed this dot and you could have written like sepal dot length less sepal dot width and blah blah blah. So whatever you want to write, you can write, but I am taking all the 4 predictor variables, so we have just written tilde dot. And the data will be used is only the training data frame, which is 102 observations. So we are not taking the 150 observations in there, we are taking 102 observations, and we are doing 5-fold cross validation. So we will be creating 5 folds of 102, not the 5 folds of 150. So we are taking the data as train DF, and the method is RF. That means that we will be using the random forest model. So you could have written anything else also. If you are using logistic regression or other, you could have used a different name for it. Then TR control will be the control parameters which you have written here, and then tune grid will be parameters grid which you have already written here. You could have used the pre-process centering and scaling in the case if you need, but we don't require here, so we are not going to do that. There are other functions, other parameters also in this function which you can tune. Just write comma and then hit tab, you will find what are the other parameters involved in it. So you can do that also, but I am just doing the basic thing. So use the function train and write it like this: species tilde dot comma, and then data as training data frame, method is random forest, that is RF, and train control parameters and grid parameters grid. So write it like this. So the model is not training, and it has been trained, and it has got the cross validation results inside this object. Let's see what it has inside it. See, you could have written like this, say write model random. What you see here is it says 102 samples, so we are taking only 102 samples. Yeah, so we have 102 samples which are in the train DF, that is training data set, and we have 4 predictor variables and 3 classes. So it is just giving the summary of what we are using. Now no pre-processing, because we have not pre-processed here in the function train function. Resampling, cross validation 5-fold, we are using 5-fold cross validation, which is control parameters which are given here. Then summary of sample sizes, so these are 5 samples, 82, 83, 81, 81, 81, because it is not completely divisible, so it is some of the data sets is having 1 or 2 more. So but approximately they are data sets of approximate 80. So what we do is we just train on 4 models, test on the left out model. We do it many times, so right, making all the possible combinations, 4 possible combinations, and then testing on the data set. So we will test on all these 5 data sets. Now what we have done is we have chosen the mtry parameter, that is 2, 3 and 4. For each of these parameters we get the accuracy average metric. So accuracy is 0.95, 95% accuracy is being given when the mtry is 2. 95.09 is this, 96.04. so for as the mtry is increasing, we are seeing that accuracy is also increasing. It is not a rule, but here in this specific case we can see that the accuracy is like this. You can also make more different kind of combinations as you wish, but this is just a simple demonstration how you can use this mtry, or how you can use the parameters and what kind of fold cross validation you are using. So kappa is also a metric. Accuracy standard deviation, it is telling about the accuracy is this, but because we have 5 times testing, we are testing 5 times, so this is the average accuracy, and this is the deviations, average standard deviation of the accuracy metric, and this is the standard deviation of the kappa metric. So we are not just getting one accuracy, because we are testing 5 times, so we are getting 5 times accuracy, 5 accuracy metric, and we are taking the average and a standard deviation of those for all these 2, 3 and 4 accuracy metric. At the bottom it is saying that accuracy was used to find the optimal model. You could have used log loss, or you could have used a different kind of metric, whatever you want to need, but here it is saying that the final value used for the model was m tries equal to 4 because the accuracy is best for this case. So I think in a short summary you can understand that train is the function which is being used for training, do the cross validation, and these are the parameters, and the rest parameters you can just hit comma and tab. And these two things are also very important. Method, which model you want to use. TR control tells that what control parameters you need to check, and tune grid is telling about the parameters grid. So these are control parameters here. The control parameters are being given by the train control function, and the parameter grid is being written like expand.grade. So that's all, and so it is very simple. But say if you want to know what are the models which you can train in this carrot, you need not go and search on Google. You just have to write it here like names, get model info like this, and just hit, and you see that there are so many models here. If you want to know that which of the models are being used for a regression problem or which are being used for classification, that you can, of course, search on the carrot in Google, and there are a lot of websites which are able to tell you that which of these models are being used for regression, or which are of them are used for classification. So I think you know how the predictions are being done. Predictions are done by using the predict function for the model name, model random. So this is also doing the cross validation, and it is also having the model, best model in it. And you then test on the test data, for in which we have 48 observations. So you just do the predictions, and then you check the table. Predictions, actual predictions. That means these are the predictions, and these are the actual values of the testing data frame. So the table is like this. We can see predictions and actual. So diagonal values are correct ones, non-diagonal are incorrect values. So this one is incorrect, and this one is incorrect. So actual Setosa is 16, and the predicted are also 16. They are the same, but the model is predicting Virginica one time, but it was versicolor, and model is also predicting versicolor once, but actually it was Virginica. These are incorrect ones. So now you can just see, you should know what the model, what is the problem you have in hand, whether it is a regression or classification. Then you need to check that which of the models you can work well with your data set. Also you need to see that which of the variables are categorical, and if they are categorical you need to convert into factor. So all those things I will be teaching in the next videos if you are not familiar with how to handle this categorical data. But this is in general a very short description for those who are trying to learn what is cross validation and how is it being performed. So thank you for watching this video, and please do subscribe and share with your friends who are into this data science or machine learning field. And so thanks for watching. Please do subscribe, and please do like. Bye bye.